that being said, let's dive in. So you're going to head over to your BAREIS dashboard. Keep in mind that there is an option to go back to BAREIS Legacy. So if you're like just so reluctant to change, you can't figure out how to make something function right, you can currently click on the Legacy option. That being said, I don't think it's going to last forever. So at some point, you need to start practicing and adapting to the new BAREIS 11 because it's here, it's coming. Deal with it. Okay, that's my opinion there. But you can, like I said, go back. So for the most part, your dashboard's exactly the same. Nothing's changed on your dashboard. You can still move the bricks around. You can change what's on here. You can set it up that way. So everything on the dashboard is 100% the same. Where we start running into differences is when we start doing searches. Okay, that's really it. I don't even think, well, we'll go into that later. So if we go into searches, like I really like the interactive map, but sometimes I either use the interactive map or the standard search. So let's go into a standard search. Okay, even the screen looks really similar to the previous one. No changes so far. So let's come down and just plug in a search. Keep in mind here that if this is your first time, you don't really have a lot of BAREIS knowledge or MLS knowledge. Let me just show you a couple of things. Vacaville, because I get this question a lot too. You've got this standard search, which again, I use for just about everything. If you scroll down, you can search by like listing agent or buyer's agent or office, right? So this is a good way if you want to pull like what listings does our office have? Great way to do it. When it starts going to like private remarks and public remarks, be really careful with searching those because it's going to look for exact matches. So like if we search private remarks, ADU, it's only going to come up with properties that have ADU in the private remarks. So I don't ever use these for searches. You could. Buyer financing, maybe if you were looking for like a seller financing option, that might be a way to do it. But remember here, once we start getting in like the weeds of details for listings, it's only as good as the information that's been inputted into the system. But maybe you're looking for something that's assumable. Okay, this might be a good way to say, hey, are there any properties out there like first search on something that can be assumed, right? So there you go there. Okay, so that might be a way to do that. Okay. Going down further, we're looking, hey, do we have a specific county we're looking for the APN in? And remember, APNs are county specific. But again, I don't search for that. But you might be like, Amy, I'm missing things. Like, what if I want to search for properties with a pool? Or what if I want properties that have a 2-car garage? Well, you're in luck because even though it's not here, okay, just brief overview in case, because I get this question all the time. Like, how do I search for this or that, right? We just go to additional criteria. With additional criteria, then it's alphabetical. So it starts with numbers and then it goes alphabetically. And some things in here, just so you know, they're named something different than what you would expect. So sometimes you got to scroll through kind of carefully. But let's say that you wanted homes that had at least 2-car garages. Here's your garage space. So we could click 2. As long as we click 2, anything with 2 or more garage spaces will be included in that search. We don't actually have to check the boxes for include or exclude. Okay. So let's scroll down a little further. We're in the L's, O, P, O, O, pool. There we can search for pool. So we want properties with a pool. The second we mark yes, now it's going to sort for properties with a pool. So right now I'm looking for active and coming soon homes in Vacaville with a 2-car, at least a 2-car garage and a pool. Okay. So now, okay, that again, general criteria and additional criteria. So in case you're looking for that, it's under additional criteria. So now I'm going to click, you have 2 options here. Mine does an automatic count because my settings are set up for counts on the fly. So that's inside your admin and your preferences. So every time I make a change, it gives me a number right here. Otherwise, it might give you an option for like preview or something. So you could click on that. It'll tell you how many listings are coming up. The other option, so from here, I can either click view results or I can click search. Either one's going to get me to the same screen. So I'm just going to click view results. But again, you could have clicked search. That's going to pull up our next screen. And this is really where we start seeing the difference between BAREIS Legacy and our BAREIS MLS 11. Okay, now again, right here in the upper right-hand corner of the blue toolbar, that legacy view, that will take you back to the old search, but I recommend that you don't do that because the new search is actually kind of handy once you get used to it. And the only way you're going to get used to it is by using it. Okay, so oftentimes this toolbar here on the right-hand side is closed. Okay, and this is where we find most of our things that were up here on the blue toolbar previously. So if I want to change the search criteria, if I want to go back and make some changes to it, super easy. I can just click revise criteria. It's going to take me back to where I can select changes to the search. Okay, so revise criteria, same as before. View criteria, if I click on this, it's going to tell me what my criteria was. Not super helpful. And then we have one save button up here. And if I save this, it just gives me the option to save it as a search. So again, just a little tidbit, if I want to save it to make it really easy for me to pull up, I could say, if I had a buyer, I could say Petard purchase, we're going to say pool. Okay. And then I could call it Market Watch and turn that on and hit save. If I click more, it gives me more display options and different things, right? So Petard purchase, Market Watch on, I'm going to hit that save button. Okay. What that's going to do is from the home screen, remind me to show you later after I'm done here, after I give you this tour, I'll show you how to pull that search back up really easily so you can see if there's any new properties each day that matches the criteria of their search so that you can be the hero for your clients. So those are your 3 buttons up here on the blue toolbar. And if you're like, Amy, but what happened to everything else? Okay, it's all over here on the right-hand side. So if we click these 2 little arrows to pop this out, we can view tax records. So let's pick a property. I'm going to click this one over here on Deer Branch. So if I click that MLS number, it takes me to the next screen. Okay, so now I'm on the display screen. So I was on grid. So notice up here on the white toolbar, if I go grid, it takes me back to that grid. If I go display, now it's going to take it where I can scroll through each listing here on that display where it actually pulls up like a report. Okay, so that's how to toggle between. Now, if I want to see more pictures on this property on Deer Branch, boop, picture button. Now that takes me to all the pictures. I actually like this better because it makes it a little easier to scroll through those photos and look at what I want to see. Okay, so that's how to get to photos. Again, I can pop back over to grid. I can pop back over to pictures. Okay, I can go media. So if they had like a virtual tour or something, it would be there. Okay, hold on. We're going to go back to our BAREIS dashboard. All right, there we go. So media. Documents is if they've attached any documents to this listing, like maybe they've got media also, I'm not sure where that disclosures.io link would be linked in here, but it could be under media as well. So it might just be tours. It could also be that. But documents would be like if I uploaded inspection reports or an NHD report or seller disclosures or offer instructions, you would find that under documents. Okay, this one has no documents. And then our last little tabby here is our map. Okay, this will allow you to see where this property is. And it's going to show all these properties here on this map, but see, it pops up this one here. I can zoom in on that. Okay, so there is the map. So I can zoom in and see where that property is. All right, so those are your little taggies here. Keep in mind here, you can change it. So if I go back to the grid, if I hit the little down arrow, this is the 1-line grid where each property gets 1 line. Okay, I could go multi-line grid. Okay, here it gives me more details about each property. Okay, multi-line grid. Comp grid. So this would be like, if I was looking for comps, it looks very similar to the other one. And then I have my one line hot sheet. Okay. Now, if I'm in my one line grid, there's a little cog over here on the left-hand side. That's the settings button. That's how I edit my grid. So if I click on that, it's going to take me to a setting to change the grid up so I can add stuff and take stuff out of my grid search. And keep in mind too that we can set up different grids for our residential properties, for our lots and land, for our commercial sales, our residential income. So each one of these tabbies here across the top means that you can set up the grid differently. Okay, so you can make changes to that one individually. So super simple. I've got listing number, status date. Let's see, property subtype, number of units. I was just looking to see what I want to change here. I think it did a good job of pulling over everything that I had before, but maybe I don't want the selling agent name. So I'm going to click on that and I'm going to click remove. Don't make the mistake I've done before, which was hit remove all, because that would be bad. So just remove. Okay. Once you've made those, and then here across the bottom, these little boxes are going to be additional info, property history, tax information, map, pictures, virtual media, attached documents. I could click the find comparables button too. Once I'm done, I'm going to hit save. Okay. Make sure it's saved. And then I'm going to click back to list. Yes, I want to save changes. Let's see. It's thinking really hard about saving. You can do it. I believe in you. The save button is not currently working for me. All right, well, that's how you would do it, and then you would save. I don't know why it's not letting me save today. Oh, maybe it is now. Let's see here, because it won't let me go back to the list either. All right, we'll see if it made changes. All right, so here I am back at the grid. Okay. If I scroll to the right over here, here's where all those the boxes down at the bottom. So this is for the tax additional information, property history, tax information, map. I don't even really need that box anymore. Additional pictures, I could take that one off. Here's if they have virtual media. Here's if they've got a document attached. And then here's to find comparables. Okay, so that's how that whole process works. Okay, any questions about setting up that grid? Okay, and then this grid works the same as like the one-line grid worked previously in the legacy version. If I want to sort by square footage, I can just click on that button. It'll sort it smallest to largest. If I click again, it goes largest to smallest. So ascending and then descending. I could sort by status date, like when did it come on the market? So if I'm looking for something that's been on the market longer, we could do that there. Okay. So you've got lots of options there. We can sort it by status versus status date. Okay. So I showed you how to edit the grid. I showed you how to, all right. So if we go to displays, like right now, mine has the full residential full listing detail. And again, here you've got a bunch of different drop downs. So maybe we want the agent detail, right? So these work kind of like the reports worked previously that you could only get if you printed that report. Now you can see kind of what these look like for each report setup. So if I wanted like the client one page, here's what that client one page is going to look like for that, which makes it really easy to select the properties that I'm interested in, right? Go to my client one page and then I can go print. Okay, and it's going to print that display. We're waiting for it to load. So in case you're like, Amy, your screen went black again, it's because it's patiently waiting for the report to load. Here it comes. Okay, so then we have that residential client 1 page. Okay, so super simple to get it to a print, or from here, we could also email it as well. So change up your display before you go. So like on my appraiser packets, I like the appraiser detail page, like the appraiser 1 page, I would select that. And then I could come over here to the print button to print that report for my appraisal package. Okay. You can also email it from here. So if we have our display, we have our properties selected. So you need to check some boxes for the properties that you want. Then you can go in there and send that email directly from BAREIS, just like you could before. Okay. Right now it says, hey, we've got checked. So it's going to include either in the print or the email, anything that is checked. If I go all, now it's going to select all of the properties that are in part of my search. Okay, so play around with that, but I like the checked button here because that just includes the ones that are checked. Okay. Presentation package ready. All right, fabulous. Moving on. All right, so we're going to go back to display. I'm going to go back over here to the full listing detail. Okay, so now let's say, okay, so now from this one, remember how we used to have, it used to be hyperlinked with a APN number on here, and we could just click that APN number to get to the tax records, and now there's no button to click there. So over here on the far right side, that little toolbar that you can pop out and in, you can just click, once you've got that listing selected, view the tax record. It's going to pop up a new screen for you where it's going to pull up the tax record for that property. So that's how you get to that tax record. Okay. Now you also could from the grid, right? So from the grid, remember we scrolled over. I got to wait for it to participate in the process here. Hold on. Sometimes it doesn't like my mouse. All right, hold on. All right, so remember over here, we had that tax record. So if we wanted to see the tax record here, we just hover over, if you can't remember what it was, hover over that $sign, click on that. Same idea, it's gonna pull up that tax record for you. So you can get there from the grid or you can get there from the toolbar on the side once you have the displays changed up. Okay, now you can also view the agent and office information. You can email the listing agent. If it was a sold property, you could email the selling agent. You could view the history for the property. So you could see when it came on the market, what changes, price reductions, whatever have been made. We can view the neighborhood, view the map. You can post it from here to social media. I would caution you to be careful with posting from social media to BAREIS. Only because generally speaking, our social media sites do not like external sites posting to them, and they bury those posts a little deeper in the feed. So you'd be better off going to your website, finding the listing there, copying that link, maybe taking a couple photos, posting it onto your social media with just a couple of photos, and then put the link for more details in the comments section, or create a social media post with that QR code so that somebody could scan that QR code to get more details. But taking people from a third-party site to social media, going post directly on social media, sometimes that doesn't work very well. And then also posting links in your social media to take people off social media, they don't like that either. So just a little a little thing there. If you want to report a violation, you can do it through here. I would highly recommend before you report a violation that you call that agent and let them know that they're missing something on their listing or they've got something in there that they shouldn't have. You're going to make more friends that way than just turning people in with violations. You've got public links. So here's that public link in case you wanted to view that, to copy and paste that to your client. You can do it that way as well. All right. Then remember on this top toolbar, we had like schedule a showing or add this to a prospect's cart. Those are down here now. So schedule a showing is going to take you over to showing time. Add to a prospect's going to add that listing to their cart as an agent recommended. Okay. Then here's where the cart has gone. It took me a long time to find the carts because I love my carts. So here's where that is, where you can add this listing to a cart, or you can remove listing from a cart. Okay. So some options there. If we wanted to add it to a cart, it's going to pop up that same window, add to existing cart, add to new cart, right? So we just click that add button and it adds that up. Okay. You've got some other things down here like statistics, exports, or presentation package. Okay. So here, like if I selected all of these properties here on residential and hit run statistics, we used to have this up here called like trends or something. Right? It said statistics. But so you select the properties that you want included, and then here it runs stats on those. How many are active, pending, closed, or other? How many, what's the bedroom count, the minimum and maximum, the square footage, right? So if we wanted to know, like right now I pulled all the homes in Vacaville with a 2-car garage and a pool. So we could easily find out here. Let's see, original price. Okay, so here's our average, right? So our average price for a home with a pool right now in Vacaville is sorry, it's just an original price. It doesn't have current price, which is interesting, which is $863,000. Our median price is $720,000 with a maximum of 2.6 and a minimum of 375. So again, if we want to know the difference between average and median, if we have 5 properties, the average is we total up the listing price for all 5 properties. We divide it by 5. That's the average. If we want the median, we've got 5 properties. It's the 3rd property. So if we put them in order from cheapest to most expensive, that one in the middle, that's the median. So that's the difference between average and median. But we can see average days on market, median days on market, right? Cumulative. So that's how you get to stats. To go back, we just hit back to list. Okay. Down here, you've got your links for like Cloud CMA, RPR, Showing Time Glide, all of those. So it's got those bonus links down there. What questions do you all have? Was this helpful? Do you feel like you've got a better grasp on how to navigate BAREIS MLS 11 now? We just have Roberta now. All right. Any questions, Roberta? All right. Fabulous. So that was, it's not, there's not a bunch of changes on here. Just so you know too, if I go into, I like my interactive map. Oh, I was going to show you, we'll go back to the homepage before I'm done. So I like the interactive map. The interactive map works exactly the same as the previous BAREIS Legacy or MLS Legacy. Okay. Until we go to view results. And then as soon as we go to view results, it takes us from this over to the new MLS 11 display. So anytime we go to look at the search result, this is where the changes happen, and that's how to navigate it. If we can't find it here across the top, we can find it down here to the bottom. Okay. If we, just so you know, when we hit the add to prospect, it gives us the option to add whatever listings we have selected to the cart. It has, and you can put them in newly matched or agent recommended. We can save it as a new prospect. So if we pulled up this search for somebody new and we hadn't created them yet, we can save this as a new prospect search. And that would just be those listings. Okay. Down here, we can add the actual search to an existing prospect. So we can add them into somebody who already exists. So just so you know, you have those options. So get in here and play around with it. All right, so I'm going to go back to the home dashboard because I want to show you something. Because remember, I took this search and I hit the save button. So if I wanted to pull that up, I would just come down here to Petard purchase with a pool. And in the last 3 days, maybe it's been a couple days since I checked, this shows me what new listings have come on the market, what's come back on the market, and what's had a price reduction that matches my client's criteria. Okay, so it makes it super easy for me to go in there and be like, oh, hey, that property on Hillside that you were interested in just came back on the market or just did a price reduction, right? So that gives us our market watch. So anytime we hit save on a search and we toggle that little market watch on, it will show up here. If we don't toggle it on, it won't show up in the search. But that's a really easy way to keep the pulse on a daily basis on your active clients that are searching for properties, or even on comps, right? So if I have a listing, I could save it as, 123 Sample Street comps, save it as a market watch. And then each day I can see if something came back on that matches the criteria of the home I'm trying to sell, so that I can see, hey, what are the prices doing? Have we had price reductions? Do we have price increases? Do we have new listings on the market that are competitive with mine, that the prices are lower, right? So it allows us to create those searches, makes it really easy for us on a daily basis just to come in here, start with the top one and work our way down, so that we can then text our clients and be like, oh my gosh, you'll never guess, but that property that you really wanted is now back on the market. So we can set it up that way. We can become the hero. We can be like, oh, I just saw a new property that came on the market that matched your criteria, right? We can be doing this every morning for all the properties that match. And you can change it. So like if I did this yesterday, I might say, hey, I only want to go back one day. What's happened in the last 24 hours? And then once that buyer is done, they've purchased their property or we've sold that listing, we just come in here to manage. And we can go in there and we can delete the search like this, right? Delete it. We can turn the market watch off versus on. Okay, so you can do that. And then you just want to save and refresh. Okay, so that's how to edit that market watch. That's all I've got for you today. I just kind of wanted to walk you through that BAREIS MLS 11 update so that you kind of knew how to navigate it, because I don't want you guys feeling lost or frustrated. I know that I'm hard to adapt to changes often. So I would log in looking for going to do a property search for a client, see the changes, get really frustrated at it, click that legacy button after maybe I threw my computer out the window, and then just stick with legacy for the rest of my life. But it is good. Okay. It is good. And so I recommend exploring with it. Don't wait until you need to go pull up a listing for your client to do it. Get in there and spend like 10 or 15 minutes, 5 days in a row, going in there and just playing around with the MLS 11. And if you need more help, you have questions, like you've got your MLS 11 facts, there's trainings that you can go back and watch. So there's help available. So get in there, get some help. And then, like I said, we're going to try to get BAREIS in the office to do a training in live for you guys, because every time they come and do a training, I always pick up some new tip or trick. Any questions before we wrap up today? All right, fabulous. I hope this was helpful. If you're watching this on replay, you have questions, I didn't cover something you wanted me to cover, just holler at me. I'm happy to add that to a future training or just answer your questions. We will see you at the next training. Just so everybody knows, there is no training, or so Roberta knows at least, there is no training next week. We're coming up into Easter week. Is that all week next week? Let's see here. Yes, next Sunday is Easter. So we have no training on Monday or Thursday next week. And then we also have no training, I don't think, on, I could be wrong.
The 20th is Easter.
The 20th is Easter, which is not this Sunday, but next Sunday. So we have no trainings leading up to Easter. And then I don't think I have trainings on the 21st either. I think I blocked that one off because it's the day after Easter. So you've got a week and a half before we join each other again. And then, the training on the 24th is going to be fabulous. So the training the week after Easter on Thursday is Rob, I don't know. Anyways, from He's legal counsel, and he teaches you how to stay out of court. He is amazing. He will be on. He's brought to us by Lisa Visa. He did a great job. Last training was on the agent visual inspection disclosure. I don't know what he has in store for us, but we're going to have him back once a quarter to teach on other things to help us stay out of court. So he'll be in on that Thursday, the 24th. So mark your calendars for that one. All right. Fabulous. Have a great day.
Thank you. You too.